Number 1. Honda CR-V. Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's talk about one of the most important compact SUVs on the road, the 2026 Honda CR-V. Because Honda isn't reinventing the wheel here, but they are making smart upgrades that really matter if this is the kind of car you live with every single day. Before we go any further, if you enjoy staying up to date on new car releases and honest enthusiast-style breakdowns, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel a ton and makes sure you don't miss future updates on upcoming Hondas, hybrids and SUVs like this one. Now, back to the CR-V. At first glance, the 2026 model keeps that clean, confident shape we've come to recognize, but with sharper details that give it a more upscale look. Expect updated lighting, a slightly revised front end, and subtle body tweaks that make it feel more modern without going overboard. Compared to older CR-Vs, this one feels less soft and more grown up, almost like it's borrowing a little attitude from Honda's larger SUVs. The hybrid version is really where the excitement is. Honda's been refining its hybrid tech year after year, and the 2026 CR-V hybrid should feel smoother, quieter, and more responsive than before. It's not about speed, it's about how effortless it feels in daily driving. Pulling away from stoplights, cruising through traffic, and even highway driving should feel calm and confident, all while sipping fuel way more gently than past gas-only models. And while most people aren't taking their CR-V rock crawling, Honda knows buyers want versatility. With available all-wheel drive and improved traction tuning, the 2026 CR-V should handle snow, dirt roads, and weekend adventures better than earlier versions. It's still very much a road-focused SUV, but it feels more capable and secure when conditions aren't perfect. Inside, this is where longtime CR-V fans will really notice the improvements. The cabin is expected to feel cleaner and more modern, with a larger touchscreen, better digital displays, and smarter placement of controls. Everything is designed to be simple and intuitive. No learning curve, no clutter. Materials should feel more refined than older models, and overall comfort looks to be a step up, especially for longer drives. Pricing is expected to stay right in that sweet spot where the CR-V has always lived. There may be a slight bump over previous years, especially for the hybrid, but Honda knows this SUV's success depends on value. When you compare it to older CR-Vs, the 2026 model offers more tech, better efficiency, and a more premium feel without drifting into luxury car pricing. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, the 2026 Honda CR-V feels like a confident evolution rather than a dramatic overhaul. It's smarter, more efficient, more comfortable, and just more polished than the models that came before it. And honestly, that's exactly why the CR-V continues to be one of the most trusted SUVs on the road. Number 2. Porsche Cayenne. Now the first thing you'll notice, even in pictures, is how the 2026 Cayenne carries that classic Porsche identity forward while still looking fresh. It's familiar, like a Cayenne should be, but with sleeker lines, a slightly more aggressive stance, and this sort of purposeful presence that feels like it's ready to carve a canyon road or cruise through the city with equal confidence. It's unmistakably Porsche, but it looks more refined than past models, almost as if they took everything fans loved and just made it sharper. Under the hood, the hybrid versions are really where this new Cayenne gets interesting. Porsche's been betting big on electrified performance, and for 2026, that means more immediate throttle response, better fuel economy, and a driving experience that feels both powerful and smart about how it uses its power. You still get the heart-racing acceleration we expect from a Porsche, but it's paired with this smooth, efficient delivery that makes everyday driving so much more enjoyable. Compared to older Cayennes that focused mostly on pure power, this one feels more balanced, faster off the line, but also more composed in daily traffic. And sure, most people don't buy a Porsche to go off-road, but the 2026 Cayenne actually doesn't disappoint if you decide to take it off the beaten path. With available all-wheel drive and thoughtful traction control, this SUV feels planted whether you're hitting gravel roads, light trails, or wet pavement. It's not a hardcore off-roader, but it's capable in ways that make you feel confident exploring a little beyond the highway. It's that sweet spot Porsche always seems to nail. Luxury meets capability. Step inside and you'll feel that same blend of performance and sophistication. Porsche hasn't just thrown in tech for the sake of tech. They've refined the whole cockpit experience. there's a big, crisp infotainment screen that feels intuitive to use, a digital driver display that's clear without being distracting, and materials that feel, and I mean feel, premium in your hands. Compared to earlier Cayenne interiors, this one feels more modern, but still very much connected to Porsche's driver-focused DNA. The seats hug you just right, the layout feels thoughtful, and even long drives feel effortless. Now, pricing for the 2026 Cayenne isn't exactly entry-level, it's a Porsche after all. But what's interesting is how Porsche seems to be offering more value within each trim. You're paying for a luxury sports SUV, yes, but you're also getting features and performance that feel worth every penny. When you stack it up next to past Cayennes, it really feels like you're getting a smarter, more complete package today than you were even a couple of years ago. So at the end of the day, the 2026 Porsche Cayenne isn't just another model year. It feels like a meaningful step forward. It holds on to its sports car soul while embracing efficiency, comfort, and everyday usability in a way that makes you genuinely excited to take it out for a drive. Whether you're tearing up twisty roads or just heading out for coffee, this SUV seems built to make every moment behind the wheel feel special. Number 3. Toyota Corolla Cross. I am so excited to talk about something that's kind of quietly becoming one of the most interesting compact SUVs on the market. The 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross. Toyota's been building these little utility vehicles that just work for so many people. And with this next generation, it feels like they're finally giving the Corolla Cross the moment it deserves. Right off the bat, let's talk about the look. The 2026 Corolla Cross still has that clean, confident shape you expect. Not overly flashy, but just right. Think sharper lines, more sculpted edges, and a front end that feels more purposeful without going over the top. It looks modern and just a little bit more adventurous than the earlier models. Like Toyota took everything that people liked and gave it a little personality boost. It's the kind of design that doesn't scream for attention, but definitely gets noticed in a good way. Now, of course, we've got to dive into what's under the hood, and this is where the hybrid version really shines. Toyota has been perfecting hybrid tech for years, and the 2026 Corolla Cross Hybrid feels like the most refined version yet. It's smooth, it's efficient, and it's just easy to live with every day. You're not losing anything when it comes to responsiveness, and the fuel economy is going to make a ton of sense if you're doing a mix of city driving and highway miles. Compared to past Corolla Cross models, this one feels more grown-up. You can feel the difference the moment you drive it. And speaking of driving, you might be wondering how it handles when the pavement ends. Now, we're not talking hardcore trails here, this isn't an off-road beast, but Toyota has definitely made the Corolla Cross more capable than before. With available all-wheel drive and better traction control, it handles gravel roads, rainy weather, and light trails with more confidence than we've seen in older versions. It's perfect for weekend getaways, camping trips, or just that unexpected back road you want to explore. Step inside, and this is where you really get a sense that Toyota has been listening. The cabin feels more thoughtful, more modern, and just nicer overall. There's a larger, more intuitive touchscreen, improved digital displays, and materials that feel a step up from before. Everything just feels a bit more refined, more comfortable seats, smarter storage solutions, and nicer finishes. It's practical, but in a way that doesn't feel boring. If you've ever spent time in an older Corolla Cross interior, you'll definitely notice the jump in quality here. Now let's talk about pricing, because that's always a big factor with a vehicle like this. Toyota hasn't announced the final numbers yet, but everything we've seen suggests it's going to stay in that sweet spot where it's affordable without feeling cheap. Yes, there's likely to be a slight bump compared to previous years, especially on the hybrid trims. But the extra features, the better tech, and the improved driving experience make it feel totally worth it. When you stack the 2026 Corolla Cross up against older models, it feels like Toyota has really taken all the feedback they've gotten over the years and applied it where it matters most. Everyday comfort, better fuel economy, a more capable feel overall, and a design that finally feels like it's got personality without compromising utility. Number 4. Toyota Land Cruiser. I don't know if you've been following this as closely as I have, but the 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser is shaping up to be one of the most exciting SUVs to roll out in years. And yes, that's saying something for a vehicle with this kind of history. this isn't just another refresh. It feels like Toyota has taken everything that made the Land Cruiser legendary and given it a modern twist that both longtime fans and new buyers are going to love. Right when you look at it, the 2026 Land Cruiser still has that commanding presence we all expect. It's big, it's bold, and it looks like it can go anywhere. But Toyota has cleaned up the styling in all the right ways. The lines are sharper, the stance feels more confident, and the whole SUV just feels purposeful. Whether you're parked in the city or heading out into the wilderness, this thing looks ready to roll. Compared to past models, it definitely feels more modern without losing that iconic Land Cruiser attitude. Now let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where things get really interesting. Toyota is pushing more hybrid powertrains across its lineup, and the 2026 Land Cruiser is no exception. The hybrid setup is designed to give you that classic Land Cruiser strength and torque, meaning strong acceleration and serious confidence when you're hauling gear or towing, but with better fuel efficiency than we've seen from older, purely gas-powered versions. It's a great balance of muscle and smarts, and it makes everyday driving feel a whole lot smoother, whether you're cruising the highway or pulling out of a tight trailhead. Of course, if you're drawn to the Land Cruiser, it's probably because of what it can do off-road, and this new one doesn't disappoint. Toyota has a long history of making vehicles that handle rough terrain with ease, and the 2026 model takes that tradition seriously. Expect improved suspension travel, enhanced traction systems, and the kind of all-wheel drive setup that gives you confidence on dirt, rocks, mud, and everything in between. It's not just for show. This thing is built to tackle serious trails with real capability that matches that rugged exterior. Inside is another area where Toyota has stepped up the game. The cabin of the 2026 Land Cruiser feels more refined and modern than before, but in a way that still respects what loyal owners love about this SUV. There's a bigger, more intuitive touchscreen, a digital driver display that's easy to read, and materials that feel comfortable and premium without being flashy. Seats are supportive, controls are easy to reach, and everything just feels like it belongs in a higher-end SUV. If you've ever been in an older Land Cruiser and thought, "I love this thing, but I wish it felt a bit more contemporary," this new interior is exactly that evolution. Now we all know that Land Cruisers aren't cheap. It's part of what this vehicle has always been. Pricing isn't fully released yet, but expectations are that it will land in the premium SUV range. And honestly, with the heritage, capability, and tech on offer, it feels justified. You're not just buying a car, you're buying decades of trusted engineering and real-world capability that few vehicles can match. Number 5. Toyota RAV4. If there's one compact SUV that almost everyone has on their radar these days, it's the 2026 Toyota RAV4. And honestly, this next version looks like it could be one of the most well-rounded RAV4s Toyota has ever built. From design to performance to everyday usability, this one feels like Toyota is really hitting the sweet spot. Right away, you can tell this new RAV4 has grown up a bit. It still has that rugged but refined SUV look we all know and love, but the lines are cleaner, the stance is a little more confident, and those updated LED headlights and grills just give it more visual purpose. It doesn't shout for attention, but it definitely catches your eye on the road. Compared to previous models, this one feels more contemporary, like Toyota took everything right about the old RAV4 and just polished it up. Now let's talk about what most of you are really curious about, the hybrid setup. Toyota's hybrid tech has come a long way, and the 2026 RAV4 Hybrid is shaping up to be smooth, efficient, and just really effortless to drive. You're getting better throttle response, improved fuel economy, and that kind of calm, confident acceleration that makes both city driving and highway cruising feel easy. It's exactly the kind of powertrain that makes this SUV a no-brainer for daily life. You get the oomph when you need it, and economy when you don't. But here's the fun part. If you're someone who likes to stray off the beaten path, this RAV4 has you covered too. It's not a hardcore off-roader, sure, but with available all-wheel drive, solid ground clearance, and smart traction control, it handles rough roads, gravel, and wet conditions with a surprising amount of confidence. Toyota didn't turn it into a rock crawler, but they did make it way more capable than what most people expect from a standard compact SUV. It's that perfect blend of practicality and adventure-ready attitude. Step inside and you'll find that Toyota didn't slack off on the interior updates either. The cabin feels more modern and user-friendly than ever. There's a larger, more responsive infotainment screen, sharper digital displays, and materials that feel more refined, without losing that simple, intuitive layout that makes the RAV4 so easy to live with. The seats are comfy, storage is thoughtful, and you can just tell Toyota put real effort into making this space work for everyday life and longer trips alike. Compared to past RAV4 interiors, this one feels noticeably more upscale without feeling out of place for the segment. And then there's pricing, always a big question with these updates. While Toyota hasn't finalized the numbers yet, everything points to the 2026 RAV4 staying competitive in its class. Yes, expect a bit of a bump over previous years, especially on the hybrid trims. But given what you're getting, better looks, better tech, better efficiency, it feels like a fair trade. Toyota knows people want value, and they've clearly balanced that with meaningful upgrades. When you stack the 2026 RAV4 up against older models, it feels like more than just a yearly revision. It feels like Toyota took a moment to really refine what the RAV4 should be in 2026. Efficient, comfortable, confident, and just plain fun.